send out my shares really quickly. Hi, everybody. We're going to get started for today. We are continuing our talk about the root cause of hormonal chaos and understanding how we can heal ourselves from the inside out as ladies that are dealing with the issues of bloating and fatigue, PMSing, overall feeling like our cycle is a punishment, or feeling like that our body is turning against us and that it's not working for us, but instead of for us, against us. I didn't realize how red my palm was. I thought I had lipstick on it, but I guess it was for me leaning or something. I don't know. But your hormones aren't just out of balance because this is a part of your body just dealing with life of being a woman and dealing with all of the external chemicals and things that we can't control, what's sprayed in our air, on our grass, etc., right? But rather it's your liver, your kidney, your pancreas, your brain, all running on fumes, working overtime and not being supported. And nothing will fix that without you actually making a complete lifestyle change. Nothing is going to completely heal that issue until you figure out what the root cause of your problem is. Because many women are dealing with the same pain points that I've listed off many different times that are symptoms, and these symptoms are signs from the body to let you know that you have thrown off your system for entirely too long, and now you're having the issues of fatigue. Now you're having the issues of poor circulation and regulation. Now you're having the issues of your cycle is heavy or irregular, and you're trying to figure out when did it start, how did it happen, and why. But you're not going to get those solutions following science, the Western Medicine Society. How you have to get into the space of seeing these pain points, realizing what they are, and fixing them is you making it about, this is something that I'm not going to treat the symptom for, but I'm going to take that diagnosis, take that symptom, and I'm going to start looking at my actions and my habits. I'm going to start making a new foundation. These are how you phase yourself away from the programming of what society has taught us and what we believe that is normal and we believe is the way that the body should be functioning, and get into the space of what the body actually needs so that it can feel like it's now working with you instead of against you. Because too many women are dealing with that issue of feeling like their body is working against them. And so you wake up tired and you drink coffee and you're moving throughout the day dealing with energy crashes. And that crash, nor do you have to depend on coffee, but you also don't have to deal with that crash. Because when you are tired when you wake up, you're tired when you go to sleep, or better yet, you're tired when you wake up, but right before you go to sleep, you have all the energy in the world. You need to start looking at how you have stabilized your blood sugar throughout the day. Because a lot of people aren't pinpointing the fact that the food that you eat should be stabilizers. And when you don't get stabilizers, this is the reason why you get the itis after you eat and you're so tired by 12 o'clock and you need a nap, right? When you are sitting here dealing with mood swings or energy crises that you feel like every single day you wake up and it's a new energy and you cannot figure out what's going on, you are showing, your body is showing you rather, that you were just here for here along for the ride. There's a hair on my ankle, I'm trying to get it off. You're just here along for the ride, hoping that maybe something will fix itself and reset itself, and thinking that this is a part of being a woman, that our hormones are going to be off and we're going to be PMSing and we're going to be irritable and our mood is always going to be unpredictable. But society has taught you that because they don't teach you how to look at your cycle, understand what phase of your cycle you're in, and sync with it. But instead they teach you that PMSing is normal, that all women are going to PMS and have all these hormonal imbalances. It's just a part of life. But that is not the truth. You're just along the same path that everybody else is following, which is diet culture, these pyramids and these plates that they give you. And then they don't teach you when you have all the issues that you develop over the years, whether it's hormonal imbalances, you developing diabetes, you having fibroids or cysts, you sitting here dealing with high blood pressure or heart disease. They don't teach you how to heal these things. And the reason why is because they know that they have trained you to be sick from the very beginning of your life. And then when you hit puberty and you try to figure out just the basics of what's going on, how to keep yourself clean, how to manage your cycle every single month, because now you have to deal with that every single month. They're not teaching you how to sync with your cycle phases so that you eat for your cycle so it's not heavy, so that you support your hormones, so you're not sitting here confused, so you're not sitting here feeling like your body is turning against you every single month. Your body feels puffy, inflamed, and bloated consistently, more likely than not, you wake up and you haven't even eaten, you're already feeling kind of bloated. And the reason why is because every single time you eat, you throw off your system. Every time you do a diet, it makes it worse. Because you believe that diet culture is the way for you to be healthy, right? Because this is what we've been taught. Diet culture is what you're supposed to do in order for you to get your body right, to get yourself together. And so then you go back and forth between 1 minute you're going to calorie count and restrict, you're going to do keto or paleo or Weight Watchers, and then you keep doing this every other 6 months. But during that time that you were not on that diet, your body is holding on to everything that it can because it knows one day you are going to start calorie counting and restricting again. One day you're going to cut out all the carbs and meats and dairy, and you're only going to eat a salad every single day for a week or two. And it doesn't want you to do that, nor can it handle that, because you're already malnourished in the lifestyle that you live. So when you start calorie counting and restricting and thinking the only thing that you need to eat is a salad and some boiled chicken, and your body's going, hold up, I didn't even get enough fruits and vegetables in the first place. Why are we calorie counting restricting? Why are you only giving me greens when I also need a plethora of different variety of colors so that I can finally get back to flushing and resetting instead of overworking? But a lot of people don't realize when you put your body in that panic state during your diets and then after your diets and you go back to a diet, that consistently makes your body go into fight or flight mode, in and out of instability. And then when you keep going back and forth into this 1 minute, I'm going to stabilize myself with this diet. Next minute, I'm going to go back to these unstable habits. And you keep thinking that this is the way for you to be healthy. You're never going to see long sustaining results. And how you know that is look at every single person that follows diet culture and then swaps back and does exactly what they were doing beforehand. Do they keep the healthy weight? Do they keep feeling energized? Do they keep sitting here reiterating how their life has changed and they feel so much better? No. Within a month or two of them going back to the lifestyle, they gain their weight back. They're not feeling good anymore. They're feeling bloated every day they wake up. And it's because they never learned the sustaining habits that help you be able to stabilize themselves every single day. So they're not feeling puffy and bloated and inflamed. So they're not poisoning themselves with the foods that they eat. They don't even know what non-toxic products to use. They only use chemicals in their home. And these are things that you have to combine together. You have to check off each box in order for you to get the full plethora of healing. Thank you guys for the likes and the follows. I really appreciate it. But when you are not checking off each box and making small little changes in each category, you're going to consistently play that cat and mouse game of flipping back and forth. And you're going to wonder why none of it's working. Because it cannot work in a space that is designed to make you sick. Diet culture was not put here because this is the way that people are supposed to consume and the way that everybody stays healthy. Because if it was, then why would America be suffering the way that it is if we are so heavily relied on diet culture? Because we love to say that, each region of the world has its own diets, right? But why do we in America focus on diet culture to get healthy? But our standard American diet is fast food, processed food, restaurants, chain fast food places to be specific. When you look around the world and you see what their diets are a plethora of variety, fruits, vegetables. There are meat-based cultures that only eat meat, and yet they're still healthier than us, and we eat meat 3 times a day. But when you look at China, even though they have high diabetes rates, but you look at their health rate when it comes to overall and a plethora, you see what kind of foods they eat, and they're all based on very hearty greens, very heart healthy foods in general. And if they were to realize that they don't have to have soy for everything, but they can replace it with soy replacements, because that is their culture, that is their way of eating. But if they start replacing more soy and adding in more stabilizers, they would stop being one of the leaders in diabetes and all the other health issues that they're having when it comes to them consuming soy. That is something that I've talked about before. I'm not going to dive into completely, but it's just an understanding of there's a small sliver of the world who understands what they're supposed to be doing. A majority is just following and hoping and grasping at straws. And it does not support you. As somebody who was dealing with hormonal imbalances, that was following diet culture, that was following what society taught us, who was consuming soy because they put soy in all of your processed snacks and your sodas and drinks and all these different things that y'all don't even realize that they're putting soy in your sauces. I don't know why I said sodas and drinks, but your sauces. I consumed all of these things that they told us. I played 2 sports at one time. I played sports all around the year, was healthy, worked out consistently, and could never keep a healthy weight and couldn't figure out why. When I started to go into the space of being healthy, not even just being plant-based, but realizing what reading your label is, really diving deeper into cutting out these terrible toxic foods, cutting out these terrible toxic products, and then I started to go plant-based, I realized very quickly that we have been taught and trained into subconsciously making ourselves crave toxins. And even diving deeper into when I started learning about what was going on with our food industry and diving deeper into what's going on with our agenda against our health, to be specific, I realized the reason why they're putting so much soy products in our food. And I'm going to make some dots be connected. And if Tick wants to hear it, Tick wants to hear it. If Tick doesn't want to hear it, that's perfectly fine. Please leave and remove yourself. But the reason why they're putting so many soy products in your food is because they want you to be estrogen dominant. All plants have some sort of phytoestrogens, but the difference between regular phytoestrogens that are in such like herbs in general, simple little complex things, versus soy that is full of phytoestrogens, and that's the main key component, is that your body does not recognize phytoestrogens as a normal estrogen. So what your body does when it comes in contact with phytoestrogens, which I said I wasn't going to dive deeper into this, but I always have somebody coming in here saying that they want organic soy and how it's so good for them. But there is an agenda against men and women, but specifically men, because honestly, when you dive deeper into it, you see the repercussions that it does to the body and how much soy they put into our food. It throws off our hormones, and so then it makes us have to produce more estrogen inside of the women and the men. Women, that causes things like fibroids and PCOS, because now your body's having to fight to try to produce more estrogen, which you already have estrogen going on, so then it's now storing more estrogen inside of your liver, which causes estrogen dominance. And in men, even though you have a small amount of estrogen, you're not supposed to be producing more estrogen, especially to fight off a fake estrogen. So over years of you consuming soy and having your body work overtime to try to fight off the phytoestrogens, over time, your testosterone is going to lower itself, which causes a stress hormone to be released inside of the men's body. Because when you naturally start lowering your testosterone, unnaturally rather, your body naturally starts to lower your testosterone and raise your estrogen, that causes androgens to be produced, which is a stress hormone as well. Just like it happens in women's bodies when we have hormonal imbalances, the same thing happens in men. And when you look at society and how we're having all these issues with fertility, fibroids, cysts, low sperm count, doesn't it make sense? Does it make sense now? Think about what I just said, chasing. Put 2 and 2 together of why they're heavily promoting something that causes all the issues in the body to allow people to not be able to reproduce as much as they want to. And that's all I'm going to say, because TikTok will take my account. And if you want to learn more, if you want to dive deeper into the topics that I cannot talk about here on TikTok, you have to work with me one-on-one, because they have restricted my live way too many times for me to really be going deep into it. I can only make a connection go so deep. The rest of it is either you're going to have to research it yourself and make the connections, or you're going to have to work with me and we talk about this deeper offline on a Zoom call. Because there is a reason why that they're now promoting for all these people to go vegan, and then they're sliding in all these soy products. It's not because they know that let me rephrase that. They know that eating plant-based foods, eating more fruits and vegetables, flushing the system is the way for society to get back healthy. They know that. And they hear you saying that. They hear us doing these things. They see us doing these things. And then they slide in there, well, you're not getting enough protein if you don't eat a soy-based product or a processed product that has soy in it, right? Because this is the number one way for you to get a plant-based protein. But they're not mentioning which, even though people try to avoid carbs, there are good carbs in the fruits and the vegetables that you're eating correctly. So you won't have to worry about a carb if you're eating correctly. There are chickpeas, there's mushrooms, there's legumes, there are beans. There are tons of different plant-based foods that give you proteins. So why is soy the main base that they focus on telling you to get? Why are they promoting for you to eat Beyond Meat and Impossible Meat, knowing that it has terrible ingredients? Terrible ingredients. Regardless if you go to McDonald's, Burger King, or wherever else that they have it, or if you cook it from the frozen section, look at the ingredients inside of that patty and tell me that that is any better than you going and getting anything else. Processed meat, dairy, whatever. It's not a healthy choice. But they're promoting to you to eat this as a healthy choice because they know that you do no research, but you're looking for a quick, fast solution because that's what they've trained you into doing. Looking for a quick, fast solution. Not actually making strategic changes, but seeing that diet culture works in 6 weeks or less. So what you do is in 6 weeks or less, you calorie count and restrict. You don't eat everything that you were eating before. But as soon as you're ready to eat that again after 6 weeks, you'll be fine because you can go back to your diet. Instead of helping you set up the foundation to help your internal systems. Because people's guts, their brain, their liver, their kidney, their pancreas are overwhelmed. And this is not just looking at a number and a statistic, but coroners are doing autopsies on bodies, and they're seeing the fact that people's internal organs are 3 times their actual age. And so when you look at that statistic and you look at that fact that coroners are doing autopsies on bodies and they're seeing that, and then you look at the statistics of what's going on in our society when it comes to our health, it makes a whole lot of sense. It does. Because a lot of people are dealing with like IBS and gut related issues. And when you're dealing with that issue, that is a issue of the fact that your gut biome is not where it needs to be. And when your gut bacteria is not where it needs to be, this causes mood swings. It causes sugar cravings. It causes brain fog. It causes adrenal gland failure and lack of function. And it's because you are throwing off your brain when you throw off your gut, because they are directly connected. Science has nicknamed your gut, your second brain. And so when you have these issues of mood swings, the sugar cravings, the brain fog, that links you to having high cortisol. And then when you have high cortisol, you're going to have a crash because it can't stay high forever. And then that crash is going to put exhaustion on your adrenal glands, which is your hormone producer. And so then it's going to be pumping out way too much estrogen. Like we just talked about estrogen dominance. It's going to be pumping out way too much estrogen. And your liver has to compensate for that estrogen. So then it holds on to it and goes, well, we don't need it right now. And it's a toxin because we really don't need all this. And this is making me toxic. So I have to hold on to it because what else am I going to do? And so now your liver is overflowing, overloaded, overfunctioning. And it's because you eat toxins, because you don't read your labels. You sit here and you consume all these processed foods on a regular basis. You don't eat enough fruits and vegetables and flush your system with water-based fruits and water-based vegetables. And then on top of that, a lot of y'all emotionally eat, and that's not dealing with any stress. So this also causes you to stress out, which puts stress on your hormones, which cause a stress hormone to produce, on top of the fact that your body's working overtime, which causes a more stress of a stress hormone to produce. And so your liver cannot clear out any of the excess hormones, excess toxins, and etc. So it has to hold on to it. And so when it does hold on to it, you get things around your cycle like PMS. When it does hold on to it, now you have an irregular cycle or a heavy cycle or bloating. Now you're dealing with stubborn weight gain and stubborn fat that you can't get rid of, and you're trying to figure out why it's there. And a lot of y'all are not realizing that you don't need to take a supplement. You don't need to sit here and take a tincture. You don't have to have a surgery. Because these are momentary band-aids that are not helping you heal, but they're keeping you managed just like any other prescription. It's going to keep you in the space of regulated, but it's not going to keep you healed. And the difference between the people who are regulating and using band-aids versus the people who are healing is, do you use food as your medicine? Because you don't need a gut supplement. You don't need a liver detoxification. You don't need to be sitting here taking a healthy kidney pill or something or whatever that they're giving y'all in TikTok shop. But understanding that kidneys need regulation when it comes to your hydration and regulated minerals. It needs you to get oxygen on a cellular level as well as hydration on a cellular level. Because your kidneys are the filter for your blood. So in order for blood to be flowing and pumping the way that it should be, you need to drink water and you need to eat it too. I say this often, and I really say this in my program just to get people to like realize this. When you wake up in the morning and you start drinking water first, your brain works better. Your brain starts flowing when you get water. Your body starts flowing when you get water. When you're putting something that flows inside of your body like water, everything else can flow and function the way that it needs to be. But when you're drinking coffee the first thing in the AM, when you're sitting here drinking soda in the AM, drinking juicy juices, any type of juices, before, and it's not natural 100% juice that you juiced in your home, but you're sitting here dealing with the fact that now you want to sit here and drink a coffee and have a Minute Maid at 8 a.m., and then you're wondering why by 10 you're sleepy and by 12 you're constipated and don't feel good and you're ready to go home and your side hurts. It's because you did not give your body anything to start setting itself up for success. But all you did was give it inflammatory coffee, causing bloating, and you gave it inflammatory juice, which is causing you to have an energy crash. This is leading you down another path of you sitting here having an issue with blood sugar regulation. Blood sugar and blood pressure. That was the word I was thinking of. I'm like, I can't think of the other blood one. Blood pressure. Because when you're not supporting your pancreas, when you're not supporting your kidneys, these are two vital areas. Your kidneys are filtered for your blood. Your pancreas is the filter for the filtration and the support system for your insulin. So when you're not supporting your blood sugar by using stabilizers, you're causing imbalances. And these imbalances are causing you to go into a cortisol spike once again and throws off everything else. And after your cortisol being spiked for so long, it has to hit a rock bottom. And that causes just as many problems as the spike. Not being balanced in your cortisol here versus you're up here or down here is a major problem for people that don't understand. But it's popular on TikTok to talk about cortisol, high cortisol, high cortisol. But people aren't realizing when you hit a high and you've been there for years, you hit the bottom. You don't just stay at the high and that's just what it is. So a lot of y'all are, I need to lower my cortisol. I need to lower my cortisol. But you're not balancing your cortisol. So you're going to lower it and have the same problems that you're having. And I have people that come to me talking about how they were having the same problems that they're still having and they've been raw plant-based or they've been raw vegan or they've been doing this for so many years. And I'm like, or so many months, not years, because I haven't seen anybody do it for years, but they do it for like 3 months and they're expected to completely change their life. And I say the same thing every single time. You're throwing your body off. And the reason why you're throwing your body off is because you cannot listen to it. When you're in the strategy of diet culture, I'm going to do this and it's going to fix everything. I'm going to take this supplement. It's going to fix everything. You have to get in the plethora of, are you using food as your medicine? Check. Okay. Do you know how to eat for your cycle phases? You do? Okay. These are 2 things that you have to have in order for you to be using food as your medicine. Are you still using non-toxic products? Are you still spraying toxic perfume? Are you still using toxic body wash? Do you use laundry detergent that is toxic? These are things that you need to ask. Are you still taking medications? Are you still cleaning your floors with terrible toxic cleaners, spraying your home with Lysol? These things are not only toxic to the body, but they're also going to completely throw you off to the point where you're going to believe that this is a part of your life and this is what you have to go through. And then they give you a diagnosis and you take this prescription for the rest of your life, or you go get a surgery and you don't need these things. Many women have talked to me about the fact that they've either got a hysterectomy or a partial hysterectomy based on a doctor's recommendation and then found out the fact that they really didn't have to have it afterwards. And you don't. The same thing with fibroid surgeries, because plenty of women get fibroid surgeries thinking that they're going to remove their fibroid and everything's going to be fine. But when they have 10 months, 5 years, however long later on afterwards, and they're trying to figure out, well, how in the world did my fibroid grow back? It's because you didn't deal with the root cause, and it's going to grow back because you didn't deal with the root cause. It's never going to be able to heal itself from the space where you are. And when you are following on the same foundation that has cracks in it, you are never going to change. You're going to consistently have the same problems. And so in order for you to get that shift, you have to start making the connections of that this isn't just symptoms, but rather it's a whole system that needs to be reset. And my body is trying to tell me that it needs that reset. So when you heal from the inside out, your system now is able to trust you again. And your body can finally feel like it's able to breathe. Your energy, your mood, your weight, all of these start to shift, whether you want to gain weight, whether you want to lose weight, whether you're lacking energy or you're having an issue with your mood. Your body stops fighting itself. And so then now you can actually listen to what it needs if something gets thrown off in the process. But when you have no discerning thought from the beginning, when you don't know how to balance from the beginning, you can't do anything to help it. And so how you get to the space of where you want to be is you take action. Because plenty of people will sit there and take all this information, say yes ma'am, hoop and holler in the comments, but then they don't do anything to change, and then they come back DMing me about they've tried this, and it's not working. And so then I asked them, why didn't you get a clear strategy like I've been supporting people doing for over 2 or 3 years now? It doesn't make any sense to keep sitting here following the same framework that you have had that has not worked. Because if you could do it on your own, you would have already done it. You would have did it quite a long time ago. Because nobody wants to sit here and be uncomfortable, hating their lifestyle, feeling like that they're overweight, feeling bloated, their cycle is against them. But the difference between the people who take action versus the people who take information and harbor it is the ones that make a change to their lifestyle and realize the foundation that they're on has cracks and they need a complete strategy to change that. Because y'all will research and read something down, listen to TikToks all day of information, and then you wonder why nothing is changing, because you harbor all this information and do nothing with it. You don't need another diet. You don't need a random supplement. You don't have to sit here and have a surgery. This is not the way for you to be able to live in a healthy space. Once you start eating and using food as your medicine, eating fruits and eating vegetables, and you see that you're lacking something, then there's a difference between, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing, so I'm going to slap a supplement on it, versus, I don't know, my iron is not balancing itself the way that it needs to be. I need a little extra support. So what I'm going to start doing is getting an iron-based tincture to help my food, to help my gut. These are simple little things that you can change. And if you are in the space where you want to be able to calm your brain, your adrenal glands, support your kidneys, your gut, and help your liver and your pancreas, and fully reset and get that foundation and that strategy, I have my Balanced Body program. My Balanced Body program helps you not only be able to cycle sync and understand the phases of your cycle, and gives you plenty of strategy with that, helps you be able to make your own plant-based meals, so you use food as medicine, and gives you the full approach for that, breaking down eating a rainbow plate, helping you with the foundational habits that you need so that you actually have the sustainable foundation that keeps you healthy and keeps you long-term in a space of hormonally balanced place rather than hormonally chaotic. And then it's also going to help you be able to make your own non-toxic products and your own non-toxic medicine, giving you guidance and accountability for 6 weeks so that you don't have to do it alone, and you have my full support with not only our one-on-ones that we have, but also the app that you can communicate with me during any work hour day. So they have an agenda for 2030 for people making them $1 trillion profit off of us being diabetic and overweight. And this is because we are managing symptoms and we're spending money on the wrong fixes, and we're dealing with the issue of our body not feeling like home, but us not making it feel like a home because we cannot trust ourselves in the space that we're in. And so if you are ready to stop treating your body like it's broken, and this is a part of what your life has to be, and start asking the right questions, getting the right support, giving yourself the right foundation, my Balanced Body program is linked in my bio. If you guys have any questions, drop your questions down for me. And if you don't have any questions, I am going to hop off. I have some herbal tea that is waiting for me. But like I said, that I said this last live. Actually, I've not said this live. That Balanced Body program only has 2 more spots at $9.97. After that, it is going up in price. You can get a Klarna Affirm or Afterpay. I also have 2 very simple to use cookbooks. I have one that is a plant-based beginner guide, and then I also have my Eating Away Diabetes cookbook. These help support people who need inspiration and they need more recipes when they're going plant-based, and they've already been plant-based and they just need to keep it going, but they're trying to figure out what are the I'm trying to say the different methods of making different foods, because I feel like I have a plethora of variety of different foods that people don't really consider, but they miss and that they love, that they don't know how to make. And so when I show the simplification of how they can make these foods and how simple it is, they see that plant-based doesn't have to be difficult. You just have to know the strategy of what do you combine, what do you replace. Same thing with baking, because I love baking. I've been baking since I was younger. My mom got me baking early. And so when I talk to people about how like I still bake, I just made an apple pie last weekend, like all the different things that I do while I'm plant-based, they're like, okay, but I just don't understand of how you change that. And I'm like, you don't have to use eggs. The only reason why y'all use eggs is because that's what you're programmed into. Because like when you really think about it, back in the day, they were using flax seeds, they were using chia seeds, they were using all the things that now when people bring up about using flaxseed, chia seed, a chickpea or anything, people are looking and they're like, but they used to use these things back in the day. They didn't always have eggs. Sometimes your chickens didn't lay eggs. Sometimes your chickens, you wake up and they're all gone because they've been, taken by an animal. There are different plethora of things that happened back in the day that they don't depict on TV. And the reason why is because when you start to realize that a lot of the foods that they give you is highly inflammatory, it's causing your illnesses, you would stop eating it because there are replacements. But when you don't know how to replace these things and you think you're going to be lacking in food like people do and crying about the fact that you have nothing to eat, you're going to be sitting here weary about changing it. But that's what they teach you in diet culture: lacking on food, lacking on variety, lacking in flavor. None of those things are happening to me. I don't wake up and I'm hungry. I don't go to sleep and I'm hungry. I don't go throughout the day when I'm hungry. But majority of y'all go through the day, you're hungry. You go to sleep hungry. You wake up hungry because you're calorie counting and restricting and doing all these things that don't serve you. So on that note, I don't see any questions. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Like I said, we are trying to knock these out back to back. So tomorrow will be the last live of the week. If I have something to say so about it. So I am trying to knock that out tomorrow. If you are not on my email list, you need to get on my email list. You'll know when I go live. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. If you have any questions about the program or if a link is not working, please DM me. Like I said, the Balanced Body program is linked in my bio. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. If you want to learn more about it, there is more information. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow if the Most High allows it.